Hello and welcome to the 11 11 a.m. turn of Campus Games Tinian The Forgotten Battle Jig Day scenario 1, and we're doing pretty well as the Americans. As the Japanese, not so well. As I mentioned before, we had a bit of an issue where I didn't realise that the white striped naval units could actually move in the scenario voluntarily. So I probably missed a little bit of a trick with getting those units into this perimeter area where victory points for Japanese units in the end of the game count. However, we'll persevere anyway. But the American artillery is doing very well. The combination of the artillery, the airstrikes and the Navy are doing very well, keeping a lot of the Japanese artillery suppressed, allowing the infantry to exploit off the beach. So now what we need to do now is look at the dispatch points. So if we just turn over to here and just do a little zoom here. Oops. So with dispatch points, we have the 4th Marine Division on 4 dispatch points, the Japanese Navy on 3 points, and the Army on 2. Now the rich guys here really are the Navy, because they got a very little chance of getting the 3 points per turn, but they did get it last turn. And I think we need to get the artillery moving and also the anti-tanks gun moving as much as possible. So I think we will spend 2 points of the Navy to put the Imperial Navy activation chit, so that's like a divisional activation chit, that one there, put that in the cup. With the Army, we have some reinforcements, which is one new formation for the Army that's coming on as reinforcement. So I think possibly spending 1 point for that, rather than chewing through both our points, because the divisional level are just the small artillery units up on the hill or around the hill, so they don't really help that much. The only other unit is, if I track back across here, I've just placed those new units. They're coming in here. We have this unit here, just here, which is a different formation, but it's just the one unit and it's kind of in place. It's in command, so we can do direct commands from it. So I think we'll just stick with that one formation, which is the second of the 50th regiment. That's that guy here. Get that guy in. And then we're on to the Americans here. So I think, again, another 4th Marine Division activation. So that's the full division. And we'll get that put in. That's this guy here we had last turn. And I don't think we'll get any more of the formations. We're down to 2 points. So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. So what we then do, swinging around here, excuse the movement, is we then roll to see what dispatch points we gain for the turn. And so we've got a 0 or 1 for the Navy. So let's do these rolls. Move my tweezers here. Do these rolls. A 0 and a 1 gets us 3 points. So they just get the 1, which is fairly typical for them. A 0, 1 or a 2 for the Army. We get a 9, so just the 1 for them. And then we're on to the Marines, which have a lot better chance. They have a 0 to 4 chance, and they missed last turn, and they got a 0 this time, so they do get the 3 points. 3 points will take us up here to 5. Now that's quite a lot of points. Now, of course, remember what we can do is we can add activations for 2 points each for formations that we haven't already paid for. So we may jump in with maybe one of the regimental combat teams here, and use that as a second activation. It's worth a thought with 5 points. I mean, that certainly gives us a decent stock for, next turn. If we have 5 points, we can maybe do something then. I'm not sure we need to jump in too much, but let's see how it goes. I think at the beginning, I don't think we'll bother. So we'll put in all the other chits, standard chits there, into the cup. And we're done with that. And then the last thing to do is reinforcements. So the reinforcements are, let me just get them here so I can see you. We've got pretty much, I suppose, an entire battalion. 4 companies here. And an engineering company as well to come in with a leader. So, and remember, of course, that engineering battalion isn't part of that. Isn't part of the battalion there. So it's not a blue marker. So it's not going to get activated with the others. And that's it for the Japanese. No, not quite actually, because what we also get, swing around here again, is we have 3 army support weapons. We have a battery gun. I suppose it's just like an infantry gun. We have a knee mortar, and we have a heavy machine gun. So those are available for the army. And then on the we have no navy units. We have on the American side, we have our first HQ to appear, and that's the 24th Regimental Combat Team here, with an engineering unit, and an engineering company and infantry company. We have the engineering unit, a mortar unit, and an infantry company for the 24th Regimental Combat Team. But also we have, I'll zoom in here so rather than pick them all up, we have for the 25th Regimental Combat Team, we have 2 flamethrower support weapons. Those are going to be really useful as getting rid of entrenched Japanese pillboxes, etc. We also have 2 HMG units, and we also have a light anti-tank unit, which can also, it's a white box, so it can do high explosive as well. So that's really useful. We can use those assign those during an activation. So that's the prep phase. So we're on to our wonderful action phase. And again, we can do this 2 dispatch points for a formation if we wanted to. I think we'll leave it for now, but we may jump in with that at some point. So what have we got? We have air support, the air support marker. There we go. Still not playing good with the focus there. So with the air support, we do a roll to see how many aircraft we get. Lower the better. And we get a 1. That's really good. I think that's 2 aircraft. I think a 0 is 3. Let me just check. Yeah, that's 2 more aircraft. So that's a really good roll, because I think you get 0 aircraft on anything from a 5 or up. So these are really good air rolls. 2 air support units. It's great. We need to use direct commands for that. And, oh, actually, we only have 1 direct command. So one of those air units doesn't actually appear. But we will use the other one. Now, where shall we send it? So I think because they self-spot, it would be great to send it against a unit that we haven't got line of sight on. So we have this guy is fairly unperturbed, it looks like, which is not good, and it has a hero. I'm a bit worried about this artillery unit as well. This one is reduced, so it's a toss-up between these two, I think. I think we might, yeah, I think we'll go for this one because it's not a bunker, so we'll get a decent shot at it. So let's put the air marker there, and we've got 6 high explosive firepower, -1 for the sugarcane, +1 for the unit. So it's the unit's defense value. So we have a 6 here, and we get, oh look at that, we get a 6. Oh, you can't see it. There we go, we get a 6. So with that 6, that result is quite a good one. That is 4 DG and an R. So that's a hell of a whack. And as these guys are already level 2 on DG, if we add 4, that gets 6. That's way over 4, which means this guy is eliminated. So there goes that big artillery unit gone. Well, thanks very much for the, I don't know, the Marine Air Wing or whatever it is that's coming in there. Presumably it's the Marine Air Wing. So that's a good start, isn't it? We've got rid of that big artillery unit, which is pretty good. So that's the end of air support. So let's see what else comes up. And here we have, oh right, here we have the Navy, Japanese Navy intervention. Gosh, it really doesn't like. There we go. Navy activation. So that's all red units. That's really very useful for the Japanese side, just to sort things out here and maybe fire some things off. Would have been nice to have had that that artillery unit there available. But anyway, we go through the sequence. So the sequence is we can move leaders. So that's the red leaders we have here. So our chap here, I think he's doing a good job. We have a hero here, and we have a leader here. I think we're happy with where they are. I might actually move the hero over to here. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I think he'll be more useful here with the troop quality increase. So yeah, we'll move him, keep that guy there and that guy there. So that's heroes done. We then can attach support weapons. This is the Navy, don't have anything available. So we can withdraw the HMG unit from here, I think it is. Where is the HMG? It's interesting, where did I put it? Here we go. Actually, I think we'll withdraw him from there because I don't think he's doing very much use there. So when you withdraw a support weapon, we put it into the reallocating support weapon box just here, and then next turn it becomes available. So we've done that. No concentrated fires, sustained fires, or opportunity fires still on there. Nope. So we can change to deployed or column, certainly for these guys, and I think that's what we'll do with this chap here, is we'll turn over to deployed. I'm wondering what we should do with this chap. Maybe he should come round here. I think we have the army units coming along the road here, I suppose, so they may be better at it, but this guy could get here quicker, and yeah, I think I'll put him into move mode. Don't see why not. And I'm just wondering if we remove the foxholes actually, now that there's no units in those other spaces. yeah, just check the rules, and the foxholes and the pillbox are removed as soon as there's no units in them. So these all go. Yeah, well, there's no units in them, so I mean, it at least denies the Americans using them, I suppose. And any other mode changes? Well, the black stripe units, the NGF units can't, and that, I think that's all we've got left to do on that side, on the divisional side, on the white stripe. So that's all the changes from deployed to deployed and column. And I think we are then, if we're going to do any Banzai charges, I don't think we can really do that with those units. And we perform actions. So I think the first thing we definitely do is we make a foxhole for this chap here with our hero. With this chap, we'll move him 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think leave him there. That will do. So yeah, that'll be that movement. Here we will rally, so we will reduce. I'm not sure there's too much point in firing because it's fairly weak as a unit. Then we're on to these artillery units. So this one, no brainer really, remove the pin marker. That's their rally. Over here we could get these to fire. That's a 5-factor unit, but it's -2 on its disorganisation. Makes it a 3. Still not bad. And here we have the gun here. And that's a 3 + 1, 4. Comes down to a 2 with this disorganisation. So it's whether, what we could do is we could rally these. Well, certainly we could rally that one and then give it a direct command. We do have quite a lot of direct commands available for the Navy to then fire. So I think that's what I'll definitely do with this chap is, reduce to a level 2. And that makes it a little bit tougher on the fire. This chap I think will fire anyway because we can't give it a direct command, so if we rally it, it's not going to fire this turn at all, which I think we need to get on with that. Over here, this chap I think will just fire. Have we covered everybody else? Just this chap here, whether he should stay in the cave. Again, maybe it's worth thinking about moving. No, I'll leave him there for the moment. I think I'll leave him there for the moment. There's a kind of spot here which he might be able to cover and sneak into later on in the game, I think, but let's keep him in reserve at the moment. So some combat. So who we've got to shoot at. So we've got our 3-factor artillery unit here. We have a spotter here. We have a spotter here and here, so we can pretty much fire at anything we like. The Americans are pretty spread out. I mean, this unit could be able to spot these maybe. Probably a priority on units which are not in a foxhole, so we don't get an extra -1. Possibly, yeah. Well, there's something to be said for actually softening this guy up because we've got some army troops coming in. So I think we might fire this guy here. So that's a 3. 3, 2, 1. So it's a 1 only. Not great, but that's what we can do. A 9, so that's an automatic miss. Okay, here we have anti-tank guns, so these guys are going to fire out here, I think, while we still can. They can see out here, so sorry, that one rallied. It's going to have to be this one, and then we can do more commands. That's a 4, and we'll do possibly to this one. I think these guys are a bit more dangerous, So that's a 4, 3-2 for the defence. And that's it. It's a hard target. So we're on the right side of the combat results table. So we're on the 2. We get a 6, which is a miss. And all we've got left, I think, is this artillery unit here. Slightly shorter range, but adequate enough. And I think we will attempt to shoot here as well, I think. So that's a 4, becoming a 2. That's a 9 as well. So terrible shooting here by the Navy. So that's our normal activations. Now we can spend some direct commands. Not on the artillery units, but certainly we can spend them. We'll spend 2, I think, which will be the 2 anti-tank guns to have a fire each. This is a 3, add 1, 4, down to a 3. And yeah, so if we fire this one here, that one there for the 2 commands, so that's a 3, 2, 1. That's a 3, so can't quite see on the camera here. Let me move everything up. And this is a 4, 3, 2. That's an 8, so both of them are misses. Right, this is a terrible shooting by the Japanese here. And I think that's probably about it, isn't it? Yeah, so that's all the direct commands we're going to do. Let me think. Okay, for the artillery units, they can't fire as a second action, but they could rally. So maybe that's an idea actually. Again, use a few commands here. 3 commands? Yeah, so we're down to 1 command here for the Navy, but I think it's worth getting these changed down to level 2, because that does increase their fire value for these 2, and I think we'll get rid of that one as well, of that unit. So that's quite a well, in terms of casualties or firing, it was a pretty useless turn. I did forget to put the barrages on, so we did barrage with an original 5 here, so this is a heavy barrage on here. I just thought this guy couldn't have fired here with the new artillery rules, so he fired where's the next useful place? Maybe here, I think, and he missed anyway, but that is a 4, which is a medium barrage. And then we also, did we fire another one? No, because I think we unpinned that one. So that was the only two barrages we did, but at least I remember to do it now. Okay, so next chit then. And we have the event chit, which did very well for the Americans last turn with that roll of 3 to get a napalm strike. Well, let's see what happens this turn. It's a 4, which is a local Banzai charge. Place a Gyokuzai marker on any one Japanese stack. So I didn't think Gyokuzai happened in this game, but looks like it does as a random event. So let me have a look at that quickly. Okay, so we have a priority on units that are adjacent to Americans. So we have 3 units here, there, and here. What would be the best to try that with? This guy is very good as a spotter, so I'd rather not use him. This chap is, well, it's fairly weak, but could be quite good on the Banzai charge, seeing he's got a leader as well. So that might be an idea. This guy is quite strong. Yeah, quite a if so. I mean, this is the only unit that comes down this way, I think, for quite a while. However, it's probably going to be the most effective, so I think I'll put the Gyokuzai marker onto that. Gyokuzai is a sort of special Banzai charge. Normally it's a mass charge, which is done pretty much towards the end of some time period, where it's an order to pretty much all the Japanese units just to charge. But here this is a local version of that. So let me just, yeah, I'll get the counter and get that ready. Okay, so effectively, when he's activated, he will charge that American unit it's adjacent to. So yeah, it's a suicidal charge, effectively, of you know, sort of Japanese army fame, really. So that's the event. Not entirely convinced it's a good one for the Japanese, actually, thinking about it, but hey, it's something. And okay, next counter is. That's the naval support. There we go. So out we come with our task force markers, our 2 task force markers here. And what can we hit? Well, there's something to be said for hitting the Gyokuzai unit, certainly. We can spot it, and it's a big hit, and we may be able to do some serious damage to that unit. Beyond that, we're still looking at our entrenched units here. Can't really look beyond trying to get rid of this guy, because he's got a line of sight here on the beach, which I don't like, and we need to get rid of him, even though he is in a bunker and it's quite difficult to get rid of him. So those are the 2. So we have 7 factors, 6 with the sugarcane, 3 with the pillbox, 4 with the defense value of the artillery unit. So it's 4 on indirect fire. Yes, there's an 8, which is a miss, but we do get the heavy barrage. I just thought, actually, we didn't actually fire him in the Imperial activation, did we? What I will do is I will... we're a bit low on direct command, so we would just say he rallied rather than fired. We'll just have that. But now we have the heavy barrage mark to go on here from the task force. That didn't succeed. And here on the Gyokuzai, we have a 7 6 from the sugarcane, but +3 for the Kyokusai. So we're on 9. Well, 9 is automatically a miss, so we're effectively anything but a 9 to hit. So let's see how we do. And those charging Japanese suddenly met a whole load of naval gunfire. It's an 8. Well, there you go. That's the best result in the game. 4 DG and an R. So 4 DGs. That makes a big difference. Almost killed them. And an R result. So we lose a couple of troop qualities down 2. So we were on 8. I think we're now down to 6 for them. Let me just check. Okay, I think I may have misinterpreted it. I think the Kyokusai happens immediately. So let's just wind back, I think, here. And because any DGs that happen on the Gyokusai units actually convert immediately into losses. So any DG will kill that unit. But I think reading it here, it does say for that random event that you follow the sequence here. And so we should be doing an assault here with this unit before the Navy's called in. So I'll back off that task force and let's just complete this if we can. So yeah, we haven't really gone through the assault sequence of play here, so we'll have to do that impromptu. Okay, so it Banzai charges the enemy if it's adjacent. So and the Banzai charge here right. So the first thing we do is there is an opportunity fire available from the Americans, so American Marine unit. One thing that can be done is there can be some indirect fire in support, although I'm not sure this is relevant here. Yes, I suppose it would be. Banzai charge, it's not a mass one, so it's an impromptu one, it's out of turn. So, yeah. Normally in an assault, you can get indirect fire happening before you actually do the assault and it affects the combat. Yeah, I think... yeah, so the Japanese can add 1 to his assault value. I'll just go through this and then explain it to you, I think. Right, to do it, the artillery unit needs to be active as well, and it's not in this case. This is just a random event, so I don't think there is anything of that. So let's not worry about the indirect fire. Then the defender has an opportunity fire. So the opportunity fire here is a 4, -1 is 3, +3 is 6. So it's a shot opportunity fire for 6, rolls a 7, misses. So no effect, and we have a no opportunity fire marker to put on. That's not good. So they completely miss the charging Japanese unit. Okay, we need to work out the applicable values for the assault roll for each player. They are different, you calculate them differently. And you then roll, there's a roll on each side. you add, subtract the modifiers, and then you compare them. So the assault modifiers for the assaulting units. So it's the number of assaulting units versus defending units as a ratio. So this is the actual units as in counters. So this is 1 to 1. 1 to 1 is a -3. It's not very good. You normally need multiple units to do this. So it's a -3 to start with. There are no tanks assaulting at all, so ignore that. We add the troop quality bonus of the prepared assault marker. Well, it's the Gyokusai marker. So that's +3 actually. Yes, that's right. So we have -3 becomes a 0. Any status markers, there aren't any because they're and add the lowest troop quality value of any assaulting units. That's the only thing that's relevant. If there were leaders and indirect fire, add in as well, and any status markers. So it's just the troop qualifier. So it's a 0, and we add the troop quality for the army, which is a 5. So we are at +5 for the we're at 5 for the Japanese. So I'll just mark that for the moment if I can find a 5. Ready. And for the Americans, we have the terrain defensive value plus any fortifications. So so it's subtract the value. So it's actually adding, if you see what I mean. So it's +1 and +2. +2 there. Any defense value of a unit, it's a 0. So it's on +2. There's no tanks. Any status markings, there aren't any. No leaders. And we have the troop quality as well. So we have +2 plus the troop quality is 6. So we have an 8 for the Americans. Okay, so +5 versus +8. And then we roll both the dice. Okay, and we roll to see how they come out. So +5, that's not good for the Japanese. It's a 0 +5 is 5. This is a +5 +8 is 13 to 5. So the lower roll adds that number of DGs to their side. Yes. Let's see. So I'm just going through it here. If there is a difference in the rolls, the lower roller adds a number of DGs to his side. The defender applies them to defending hex attack and may distribute them among his assaulting hexes as he sees fit. And right, the defending hex is not vacant, but unfortunately with what we have 5 DGs on that unit is removed. So it wasn't a good charge. They didn't get into the Americans at all with that terrible 0 roll. So other than that, it was potentially going to be quite difficult for them. But well, that's that bit done. We'll wind forward now to the task force. So there's no point in firing this here. So therefore we will fire it, and I think the best place would probably be here, I think. So that's 7, 6, 5. Yeah, that's 5. So let's roll that. That's a 6, so that's a miss. But we do get the heavy barrage marker. So that's the Navy support. Not really that useful. Just ended up placing 2 barrage markers really, but I mean they are useful in their own right, I suppose. But oh well. We have amphibious movement. Yep. So Right, so we do have some units here that can react, particularly these two guys. So there's something to be said for firing, let's just right there, firing at the reef zone as these guys come through. You get a much better table than what's landing here. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So these guys will land deployed. Might as well make it deployed, because whenever they activate. And same here. Get these guys deployed. And then as we move these guys from the approach zone through the reef zone, let's shift these guys up. We have fire coming from here. So again, I think we'll run this one, just out of camera range, aren't they? So that one here and this one here. This is a 3, 4 minus 1 is a 3, and there's a 0 defense value here on the hard target side. So it's a 3, 4 and a 3. We get a 6, it's a miss. Here we have a 4 with a 0, so that's 4, and we get a 4. So a 4 is an E, so that eliminates those units. Now that is significant, because that's three American units removed. So that's some payback, isn't it? Yes, because they're all in the all in those carriers. Actually, correction there. It's only one unit got hit. So we will lose a company. This is significant because American units removed are actually a victory point. So that is actually one victory point for the Japanese for that outcome. But these guys then continue on, and we put no opportunity fire markers onto these guns. They've done their worst, and right, and these guys have moved up, so that is our amphibious movement done. And let's keep going. We have the Japanese army formation, 2nd 50th, and this is these guys up here. So we don't move the engineering unit, but these guys can move. Now there are four companies and the leader. We've got a road here, which is useful to get us to maybe this area. I think maybe we should focus on this unit here and maybe trying to get in here. It's a possibility it's worth bringing them down here as well, but that's going to be quite slow. Rocky is 2, I believe. 2 movements. Sugarcane is 2 as well. We'd be going up a slope, which shouldn't actually affect movement, to be honest. So yes, we could take the units this way, seeing as we have these guys here. I'm inclined to split them, I think, and I think we will take 2 units down this route and 2 units along the road, and we'll take the leader with the guys on the road, I think. So we can add support weapons to them, and so I think we will do that. Now we will assign, I think, the battery gun and the knee mortar. I think we will assign 2 units going down the road. We won't assign them to the ones going across the mountain, because there's a movement restriction on support weapons across difficult terrain, so we won't do that. We'll hold the heavy machine gun in reserve. We could actually hold one of these. Yeah, I think we might hold the battery gun back, I think. Let's do that. Okay, so having just sorted all this out, we will have these guys here with the leader, and their activation will be along the road. So it's one for each road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can get to here. That does put us in vision here. I'm wondering whether we should just stand back a bit and wait and then continue moving. I think we might do that. I think well, actually, we may be able to give them extra direct commands. In fact, we have a lot of direct commands. I have 12 direct commands here for the army. So yeah, don't worry about it. We'll be getting a second movement. Yeah, we have one of those mark having. Right, that's great. And the other two units here, which are going to move across here. So yeah, that will be 2 movement points per hex, so 2, 4. We get that far. And again, we're not in vision. We're not in vision there, so that's fine. And that's their movement. And then we will spend 1, 2, 3, 4 direct commands so that these guys move again. And then we can send, I think the unit with the leader will move again, and we'll go 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Yeah. Also, this is a heavy barrage, so it only has one can only see one hex at the moment anyway. This one here with the knee mortar, I think we may move here to 4, and up here we will move 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe split them up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is actually sugarcane there, even though it's upper slope. The darkness is rocky, but only the red dots. So these green dots are actually sugarcane, which is upper slope. So that actually that's going to be 6. So we end up with this guy still back here, I think. Yeah, we'll leave it at that, I think. We don't want a stack of 2, otherwise we may get murdered by artillery from the Americans. So that's great. We don't have an opportunity fire here, I think. Actually, we could, because these guys moved there, then there. So leaving that hex, there was an opportunity fire from here, which is a 4. -1 for the sugarcane, so 3, -3 for the heavy barrage is a 0. So, well, it's somewhat, they're too busy, the Americans, keeping their heads down to watch these Japanese move across their front. It's a 5, which is a miss, so they keep moving. And there's no more opportunity fire here. So as you can see, the battlefield is getting a little bit more dynamic now. Okay, that's all we can do with those. Do we want to do anything else with any other units? We can't, because that was just the blue activation, blue stripe activation, so that's that done. But it does change things quite a bit, doesn't it? Okay, so next we have the direct commands for the Americans, and so we have 0 direct commands at the moment. So we welcome to get quite a few if possible. So we have a dice halved +5 for the command rating. So dice halved, that's a 5, go to a 2, so we get 7. Now we need direct commands for those aircraft, and possibly for other things. Maybe later in the turn we haven't got the 4th Marine Division activation come out yet, so we've got that second part of that turn. So do we want to use a lot of this stuff? I'm not sure we want to use any direct commands at the moment. No, I think we'll leave the direct commands. So let's keep going, because I think we'll use them as second direct commands in a further activation. Oops, that's actually, I put it back in a cup, that shouldn't be there. What have we got now? We have the wind, so that removes the barrage markers, which suddenly reveals the American unit here. I think that's any of the barrages here as well. So those all disappear. Right. And that's all. There are no fires at the moment. So what have we got? We finally get the 4th Marine Division activation. So running through the sequence, we can move leaders is the first thing. So we still only have the 2 leaders. They're very useful for getting units to do second commands. So we will move the leader back here, I believe. That gives us a decent cover as well. These guys aren't in command, but that's fine. This mortar isn't in command, but we're not probably going to give him a second command, so that's fine. So that's the leaders done. We then have probably a big thing here, which is attaching support weapons. So excuse me again, we need to be in command to get these support weapons. Okay, I've just reread the rule, and actually you need to be able to trace to an HQ. So the HQs are not on the board yet. We have one guy here, and then the yellow one I think starts in next turn. So it's going to be a couple of turns before we actually have access to these support weapons, which is a little strange why they would be available, but you're not allowed to pick them. Yeah, that's very odd. Anyway, we'll play it as is, so we don't assign any of the support markers. So beyond that, we can remove concentrated fire and then change their mode. So this concentrated fire markers go, and we can change mode. So definitely these guys, well, that guy certainly is staying. Deployed. I think we might move this guy. I think he's not up against anything at the moment. Maybe to move up here to stop any infiltration here. We'll certainly move this chap. Oops. And this chap to get them off the beach. Now the mortar unit has a 5 hex range, so it kind of covers this end and doesn't really need to move any further, so we'll leave him deployed. We will certainly move these units, so we'll get them into column. Same with the mortar unit. I think it's got a good enough range, it can stay there. We will again column these units. And I think maybe we should move this chap as well. We should remove that marker there. Okay, so we've got the deployment done. And are there any prepared assaults? So that's interesting. Yeah. I'm wondering whether we should do an assault here. Because what we can do is we can move some units up here, then do a big assault to get rid of this guy. I think I might do that. So prepared assault here. So I believe we put it on where we want to attack. Yeah, that's right. So the assault will happen next turn, and effectively any units which are adjacent can will assault. So let's place that. Interesting whether I should place that there as well. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's worth doing that. So yeah, I think maybe a prepared assault marker there as well. Let's see how we go. Maybe tough, maybe tough. So right, so prepared assault markers. Now we're into doing actions. So I think certainly we will move this unit. That's the easiest thing to do. And up a steep slope is an extra 1, so that's 3 to get there. And is it worth stepping out here into the rocky just to prevent them coming in? I think it is actually. I think we'll step him out of the zone. We're allowed 1 hex out of the zone, so we'll move that to there. Again, opportunity fire is leaving a hex, so that's fine where they are. I think we will move this unit up here, I think, to again prevent infiltration, or maybe we should move up to stop this chap moving. Yeah. What I might do is move this guy instead first. So that's only in direct fire, so he can't opportunity fire. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then I think we move this guy without the foxholes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we're there. So we've stopped the incursion at that point. We do have the swamp here to deal with, but well, yeah. Let's move these guys off the beach. I think the mortar will go and sit with the other mortar. So I think it's got a good range there. And these 2 chaps will move there and there. Yes. Okay. Over here, we do have this chap to deal with. So I think we will move this chap here. I don't really want to get caught in the marsh unless I really have to. These guys moving off the beach here, we can move 1, 2, 3, 4, and to here as well. And then the mortar will join the other mortar here. So, and the colonel was here, so moves up to there actually. Not exactly what we wanted to do, but yeah, that's okay. I mean, we're not going to use a lot of direct command, so it's not really that relevant. We will want to move the leader across when the prepared assault happens, though. Okay. That's everything with the exception of I want to fire this guy off, and we will fire. Here's the most dangerous spot. So we will fire 4. -1 is a 3 small arms. And we rolled a 4, so there's a miss. Okay, I think that's everybody. Yeah, that is everybody. So we're on to spending direct commands. Don't want to do a lot. I think we might want to fire this guy again. Oh, what we didn't do, we didn't fire these mortars. So I think I will do that. Just wind back a little bit. I think we'll find a mortar here, because this chap here, the hero, is making life difficult on the defense here. So that's a 3, 2, 1, +2. So it's a 3, 3 indirect fire. That's a 2, so it's a hit. Indirect fire of a 2 is a DGR. So we put a disorganized on him. And yeah, put a DG on him and roll for the troop quality. Now the hero does help on this. A 2 is fine. He's got a +3 on him. So that's all. But we do get a light barrage on him. And here I think we will fire into here. So that's 3, 2. That's all. Yeah, so rolling on a 2. We had an 8, which is a miss. But again, we do have a light barrage. There we go. Sorry, back to direct commands. I do want to fire this guy off again. I'm not sure I want to do very much more than that. Possibly fire a mortar over here. But I can't activate these guys because they're not within range. That guy isn't in range either. So, maybe we'll spend a point. Yeah, we'll spend a point firing him. So that's 3, 2, 3. So that's a 3 onto, and he gets a 3, which is great. 3 gives us on small arms a DGR star. Let's just roll the R quickly. A 2 is fine. So it's just a DG. Just thinking, wait, it may help for. Oh, there's already a disorganized, so we flip that to level 2. So that helps us a little bit on the prepared assault, I think. Or I think it should. Right. That's all for direct commands, I think, because I want to save them. We have got 6, but we've got aircraft to do and things like that, and possibly the big artillery units as well. We'll need them for those, so I'll save those. That's the 4th Marine Division done, and all we have left is the chit is the Japanese direct command. So actually, yes, I couldn't fire the artillery before because I didn't have the direct commands to do that, did I? So with the Japanese direct command, we find out how many direct commands they get. So the Navy is half a dice plus 1. They get a 1. So that's 0 plus 1. They only get 1. Ow, that's a big difference. Okay, and the Navy is a dice half plus 2. That's a 3, which becomes a 1. Plus 2 is 3. They do have quite a few though, so a 3 puts us on 11 anyway. Do we want to do any? To be honest, with the Navy, 2 direct commands, not sure there is. It's possibly an idea. Do we have any units still moving? We have, so it might be worth turning this guy over. So I think I will activate him for a direct command, just to give him a bit of an opportunity, and he'll also dig in. So let's give him a, let's give him a foxhole as well. We could fire the guns, but well, I think we should concentrate on the reef zone really. So I don't think and we've only got 1 command left anyway. On the army side though, we have quite a few. We do have quite a few, so we can activate, for example, that engineering unit. We can also activate these guys again, which would be good. And yeah, let's just do that. Right. Okay, so 1 point gets our engineering unit moving. I'm wondering whether we should take him through and try and, for what it's worth, some kind of outflank. Yes, I think we should bring him up the hill. So that's 3, 4, 5. But at least he's moving. I mean, well, actually, what we could do is bring him. I'd rather keep him in command. So yeah, no, that's fine. Another one will be to activate, for example, this unit here. Oops. Actually, possibly this unit here, I think. So we will move into here and then into here, which will be opportunity fire into here for that unit. We do get that. So normally if you move from an area with another one of your units, you don't get opportunity fire unless you are moving like effectively around a unit. So you're going directly from one fire zone to the next on that unit. So there is combat here. This is a 3. That makes it a 2, and that's oops, actually shouldn't flip that over. That's actually moving. So that's a 2. We roll the 2. An 8, so that's a miss. And he's happy there. Yeah, do we want to do anything else? We do have this unit which could activate with that knee mortar. That might be quite useful. So yes, I think I will activate him. That will flip over and we can fire into here. Now the knee mortar makes it into high explosive rather than small arms, so it's a different table. So we have 5 factors, 4 factors. So 4 factors on high explosive is a 0, so that's a suppress for starters. And yeah, so that's 2 GG. To compare, a 0 on the small arms would be a DG suppress. These making it high explosive makes it a 2 GG. Yes, so there is a difference there. It's more effective with the high explosive. So right, so that's, and it is suppressed, so that means it stops firing. Quite useful. So do we want to do anything else? This light brown is just we could turn this unit over at least and maybe fire him, or put him in a foxhole. I think that's a good idea. So we're now down to 7 commands. So we will turn this unit over, and note he now has a -1 defense value. It's very good. And we'll fire maybe onto this unit here, because it's in move mode. So so routing becomes an issue. This is 4, 5, 4, 3. So that's a 3 attack on small arms. That's an 8, which is a miss. Damn. Okay. Do we want to do any more? No. I think what would be a really good idea is maybe on the next activation to get this this leader in as well. That would be very useful. Out of his HQ, that colonel there. So I think that's all the direct commands. We're left with 7, which is a decent value because we, you know, so it's only +2 on it. So a bad roll will put us in some problems here. But I think we've done quite well. Okay, so that's pretty much the turn. Move the marker on. Next turn, the reinforcements are mostly American, but we do get a little tank unit for the Japanese as well, which will be interesting. But as you can see, we've kind of got the perimeter sorted, although we've got these, shall we say, dents. But at least this flank is pretty much sorted due to that event, that Gyokuzai event, charge event, which didn't go very well at all for the Japanese. Right, so probably long enough for the video. Hopefully you can join me for the 1 PM turn next. But for the moment, thanks for watching.